Okay, then the survey is gonna ask you about cars. So questions 14 to 15 are asking about car types and the type of gas you use. Okay, so how many cars do you have? I have one car. And then it's gonna ask you questions about the car. If you don't have a car, you're not gonna have to answer these questions. So what type of engine does it have? Does it have gas, or is it a hybrid? Typically, the car is gonna be either gas or a hybrid. An electric car is like, or plug-in hybrid. Electric car is like a Tesla. Then how many kilometers? I wasn't sure, so I just put the average, which is 15,000, so I picked B. And then what year was your car built? So remember, built is when it was made. And then the size of the car. You can always reference the video where I show you the images and the definitions of the words. Okay, so now this question, are you part of a car sharing club? So a car sharing club is when you go on an app and you go pick up the car from a location and then you drop the car off when you're done using it. Question 17, how often do you rent a car? So if you go on vacation, you may rent a car, you pick it up from the airport, and then you use it for a week or a few days, and then you drop it back off. Question 18 is going to ask you about taxis. So do you Uber, do you Lyft, do you take a yellow cab in Manhattan? These are all different types of taxi services. Question is going to ask you about how many times you use a taxi service. So how many trips do you take? So if you go to Yankee Stadium, if you take a taxi or an Uber, if you go meet up with your friends, take a taxi and Uber, all of those count towards these trips. How often do you take a ferry? A ferry is one of those big boats. If you go to Staten Island often, you'll probably take a ferry. Question 20 is going to ask you about public transportation. So public transportation being the subway or a bus, which we often use in New York. So I'm sure this question, your answer will be high for this question. 21 is asking you about by foot or by bicycle. So by foot just means walking. Bicycle is obviously just riding a bike. So then you're going to answer those questions. Public transport, walking. So this is also if you just walk to the bodega down the block. If you walk to the park, that's included in this question. Okay, now you're going into things that your family rents. So does your family own or rent a motorbike, motorboat, or moped scooter? So those next questions. So I had no for all of those questions. Okay, and that is finishing up with part 2 of 3. So now they're going to ask you questions about your consumption habits, which means how much you use. So how often do you eat beef or lamb? So beef or lamb looks like this pretty often. Question 24 is asking you about how often you eat a vegetarian diet, which just means no meat or seafood. So no steak, no bacon, no pork, no chicken, no shrimp. So just vegetarian plants. This does include eggs. So if you eat eggs, that's still considered vegetarian. 25 is asking you about completely plant-based. So no eggs, no butter, no milk, no cheese, no animal products at all, especially no meat. 26 is asking you about seasonal shopping. So how often do you buy vegetables, fruits that are in season? So like right now it's asparagus, blueberry season. So are those some of the fruits and vegetables that you're eating right now? Or do you eat the same food year round? Question 27 is locally sourced food. So how often do you eat things that are locally sourced? So from the surrounding area, maybe you're buying all of your apples from upstate New York or all of your fruits from Pennsylvania. So you're not getting food from Mexico, you're not getting food from China, you're getting things that are very closely originated. Question 28 asks you about how often do you if you grow your own food. So growing your own food obviously means planting seeds and then harvesting those vegetables and fruits. 29 is food waste. So how often do you throw away food? Are you consciously throwing away different foods? Do you let foods get bad in the fridge and then you just throw it into the garbage? Question 30, single-use plastic. So plastic bottles, plastic bags, plastic cups, plastic forks, straws, plastic containers. So like this is a single-use plastic bottle. So this, after I drink the water, I throw this into the trash or I recycle it, hopefully. Question 31 is a little tricky. It's palm oil. You may have to look at the ingredients from something that you eat, like a package that that your donuts come in or your plantain chips come from. So look at the package and see in the ingredients if it says palm oil or not. 32, talking about your shopping habits. So do you go shopping for new things? Are you buying things secondhand, meaning someone owned them before you? Do you recycle your products? So do you sell them? Do you put them in the recycling bin? Or do you just throw them into the trash? So this question is broken into different parts. So refer back to the slide if you need more help with these words. And question 33, how often do you offset your carbon footprint? This question is asking you, do you donate to projects that help plant trees or help clean up pollution on beaches? So do you offset your carbon footprint, meaning do you donate to certain organizations? So once you finish answering this last question, you're going to say, okay, I am with you. And then you're going to make a prediction. What do you think? Do you think you're a climate villain, a climate consumer, a climate friend, or a climate hero? To be completely honest, I thought I was a climate consumer, but it actually turns out that I am a villain. So I wasn't happy to hear that, but hopefully your results turn out a little bit better. If you have any questions, reach out to your teacher, but I hope you have fun answering these questions. I will see you in the next video where we talk about climate change and carbon emission.